All right, good evening, everyone. I call to order tonight's meeting of the Temecula Traffic Safety Commission at 6 o'clock on April 25th. And we will begin with the flag salute led tonight by Commissioner Carter.
Please join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Madam Secretary, may we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Ackerman, absent. Carter.
Here.
Maddox.
Here.
Commissioner Richardson, absent. Sullivan.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, and we will move on to public comment on non-agendized items. Do we have any speakers tonight?
Yes, we do. We have one.
All right, so before you go, I'll need to read the rules here for everyone. A total of 30 minutes is provided for members of the public to address the commission on matters not listed on the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Public comments may be made in person at the meeting by submitting a speaker card to the commission secretary over there. Speaker cards will be called in the order received. Still images may be displayed on the projector. All other audio and visual use is prohibited. Public comments may also be submitted by email for inclusion into the record. Email comments must be received prior to the time the item is called for public comments and submitted to Traffic Safety Commission at temeculaca.gov. All public participation is governed by council policy regarding public participation in meetings adopted by resolution number 2021-54. And we are ready for our first speaker.
All right, Mark, you may come to the podium.
Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Mark Swearingen. I am a resident of Wolf Creek. I just found out about this meeting, so I apologize for sending weird emails to you, but I wanted to talk about an issue that is near and dear to me. Just to give you a little background, I just retired this year from the Navy. I was a 37-year military person, and I was the safety officer for the entire Pacific Fleet from 2018 to 2021. So that's a large expanse that I took over right after the McCain and Fitzgerald accidents. So I'm keen on preventable accidents. I've been doing that kind of safety routine my entire life. So when I sent some things to the city on the park at Birdsall about the adult league playing their soccer games that kick balls into the Wolf Creek Drive, I've been appalled that the city just shrugs their shoulders and makes it seem like I'm crazy. And I've sent videos to the council members who have dismissed it. They even brought a police officer to the last meeting that I had at Birdsall with them. And I felt bad for the kid because obviously they're just using him as a tool to say, well, hey, there's no problem here. But I'm going to take the time and I'm going to send it nationally. I'm going to send it to traffic safety commissions and say, hey, look, if a state of play at a park goes into a street on Wolf Creek Drive, and I was there 20 minutes on Monday, and I saw 4 balls go into that street. Okay, I took video of two of them, and it's concerning to me because I've got a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old that drive on that street all the time. The speed is excessive always. You just put a 4-way stop on Teton Trail there because of the excessive speed. So I'm needing the Traffic Safety Commission or the City Council to come on record and say that is an ideal situation where, like someone like my 16-year-old daughter, who's a terrible driver, she backed into my car the other day. But she's going to dodge a soccer ball coming at whatever speed a 50-year-old, 40-year-old man is going to kick that ball into Wolf Creek Drive while she's driving 35 miles an hour. I don't want to see her taking a ditch, taking a tree, or taking a kid out, or a kid chasing those balls. So I'm just trying to get this stuff on the record for your determination. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry I have to go.
Thank you.
I have a quick question if I might.
Yes,
Mark?
go ahead.
Do you have a proposed suggestion to correct it?
I gave the city lots of venues that do not cost anything, and that they could solve it by moving from Birdsall 4 soccer field to Birdsall 1. Those balls wouldn't go there. I've given Ms. Russo from the parks ideas about putting up little fences along that one area. There's a lot of things that can be done. It's just that things have been this way for a long time. So no one's died, no one's gotten hurt. So why mess with it? But I'm just saying it's preventable. It's not the ideal situation. And I would like them to say that it's the ideal situation. And I'm gonna record all of it and try to put the city on notice, because it's a liability issue for the city. I mean, the clubs that do things there have to have $1 million policy, but the city has to pay if it's been noted. And I'm not looking for the city to pay a bunch of money. So, I mean, you're familiar with it. You're right there, Mr. Sullivan. So yeah. I just wanted it to be on record. So I appreciate the Traffic Safety Commission hearing me. All right?
All right, thank you.
Sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, do we have any other speakers tonight?
No further.
All right. Then we will move on to the consent calendar. We have one item to approve the action minutes of March 28, 2024, and I'll be looking for a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Vote, please.
Commissioner Ackerman absent. Carter?
I have to abstain, I wasn't here.
Maddox?
Aye.
Commissioner Richardson absent. Sullivan?
Aye. And just an update, Commissioner Carter, at the last meeting when you weren't here, the city attorney advised us that as long as you've read the minutes, you don't have to abstain.
Yes, that's correct. If you've reviewed the minutes, you can. Thank you.
Yeah, I read it, thank you.
Perfect, so that passes then. Yeah, okay, great. Then we are on to business. First item, proposed capital improvement program, fiscal years 2025 to 2029. And always look forward to... We'll be here till midnight. Yeah. Hopefully we won't describe every last project, but we're looking forward to hearing the highlights, so we'd love to hear the report. Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, City staff. I'm here tonight to present to you the proposed capital improvement program budget. And as you said, I won't be going through every single project in the budget. Let's see. As you can see from the slide, we have 113 projects, that are going to be in the CIP. 26, circulation projects, 58 infrastructures, and 22 parks projects. Total budget, the program, the 5-year program this year is $927 million, of which 629 is funded. So my presentation, I kind of divided the project in 3 categories. We have signalization project, street projects, and what I call other projects. So I'll go through like I said, the highlights of the projects, just the project I want to highlight to you today. So the first category is the signalization project, and we're talking about traffic signal installations. So we have, our traffic division have developed a priority list, a new priority list for signals that will be installed in the future. And the top of the list is a signal at Margarita Road and Jedediah Smith Road. And if the new budget is approved, we can initiate design for the signal at this location. We also have the citywide buffered bike lane striping. So we've been, on this program for several years, and we look for opportunities to do the buffered, bike lane striping this year as part of the pavement rehab project that I'll be talking about a little bit later. We're going to be doing buffered bike lane striping on Butterfield Stage Road and on Pechanga Parkway. Then we have a set of 4 projects that you see in front of you that our traffic engineer, Nick, managed to get a highway safety improvement program grant in the tune of $4.3 million for these projects. The first one is the bike lane upgrade, and that's doing the greenback for the bike lanes, citywide. The second one is doing pedestrian ramp upgrade at various school sites around the city. And then we have the pedestrian signal equipment upgrade, and that's we'll be installing ADA pedestrian countdown signal heads. And the last one is the safety light and signal communication, which involve doing safety lighting, signal heads, signal wiring, traffic signal cabinets, and traffic signal timing. So all these projects are currently in design, and when they're ready to be implemented, they will be implemented, most of them probably in the next fiscal year. Next, we go to roads and highways. So one of the first projects is the roundabout on the Portola Road at Jedediah Smith Road. We actually received an $800,000 grant, which is the Economic Development Initiative, part of Congressman Ice's, submittal. So we will be initiating, actually, I believe, on the May council meeting, May 14. We will be approving an agreement for the design of this roundabout with a selected consultant. We also have Diaz Road. We've been working on this project for some time. Diaz Road, we're looking to widen Diaz Road from Rancho California Road to Cherry Street. It will be delivered in 2 phases. We're almost done with the design of phase 1, which extends from Rancho California Road to Winchester. And we actually can go to construction in early 2025. We have to wait for EMWD until they finish their sewer line, which is under construction right now. We're also, this is the next one is the bridge over Marietta Creek at Overland, and we've been working on that project for quite some time. And we're at, design is about 60%. We actually just got approved with the environmental document for the NEPA, which is the federal environmental document that has been approved. The timing for this project is probably going to be in fiscal year 2026-27. One of the reasons for that is we have the Marietta Creek Flood Control Project. That's, I'll talk about that project also a little bit later. We have to coordinate the construction of that bridge with the proposed improvement for the Marietta Creek Flood Control Project. And the last project on this page is a somewhat smaller project on North General Kearney. There is a problem across from James Day School. So we will be doing improvement on the south side of North General Kearney by the Long Creek Canyon Park. We have a few more road projects that we are working on. Overland widening. This will eliminate the bottleneck between Jefferson and Commerce Center Drive. And the design is almost done. So now in the upcoming fiscal year, we will be beginning some right-of-way acquisition that we need in order to widen that section of Overland. We also are going to be adding raised landscape medians on Rancho California Road between Hummer Drive and Butterfield Stage Road. This obviously will enhance safety, and also it will beautify the entrance to the city of Temecula from wine country. And the last project here is the Inez Road Improvement Phase 1, and that's widening Inez Road on the east side between Rancho Vista and Tierra Vista by the duck pond. We're probably close to, 90% plans on this project. We have submitted for the environmental permits, and once we get those permits, we can probably get this project out to bid for construction. So we're looking to do that in this upcoming fiscal year.
I got a question on that one.
Yes, sir.
Will this coincide with the opening of that housing unit there?
Maybe Ron, he's working with the developer on the housing.
Yeah, the housing developer, which is doing both some market rate as well as some affordable. They were conditioned originally to do the frontage improvements just in front of their portion. And what happened was the city took, a look at that and tried to take advantage of doing the rest of the improvements to Rancho Vista. So we initiated a memorandum of understanding. So the developer and their engineer continued the design, and under the condition that once design was done and completed and it looked to be feasible to make it one project instead of one developer, one CIP. So the developer now paid their contribution of what those construction costs would be, and then the city, through our CIP program, will complete it. As Amir said, they're at 90%, so it's all going to be done at once.
Welcome. Thank you, Ron. And incidentally, for this project, we actually were able to get $2.5 million in 2 separate grants in order to do this project. So most of the project funds are coming from outside, city sources. And then I just wanted, kind of give you an update. French Valley Phase 2, that's the project that's under construction right now. And, excuse me, we began construction back in May of 2023, and we're on schedule to actually finish it in May 2025. And I want to add to this, the proposed budget include dividing up the remaining phase of French Valley to 2 phases, Phase 3 and Phase 4. Phase 3 will be the overcrossing for French Valley. We actually got some funds from RCTC to initiate some design work on that phase, and we will be able to proceed with that design once the budget is approved. We also have another freeway project that's under construction that began back in February, and that's the auxiliary lane between the Temecula Parkway northbound on-ramp and Rancho California Road northbound off-ramp. That project, began in February, and we are set to complete it by December of this year. They're really moving along very well, the contractor is. Okay, as part of the city strategy to invest in our roads, we have a number of projects that are coming up. And before I go into these projects, we did actually a new assessment of all our roads this year. We do that every 5-6 years. So we just did the assessment. We got some preliminary results, which told us that we're actually above average in the condition of our roads. Our pavement condition index is 71, which is a lot higher than, like most cities in the state is probably in the 60 range. Last time we did this assessment our PCI was 64. So we've improved a lot, and that's because we've been investing to rehab our roads over the past 5-6 years. So we continue to do that. We have in the program anywhere between $3 million and $5 million every year dedicated for the rehabilitation of our streets. This upcoming year, we're going to be doing Butterfield Stage Road from Temecula Parkway to the southern city limit, and then we're going to be doing Pechenga Parkway from Temecula Parkway to Villa Eduardo. We also have a separate project That's going to be done, Rainbow Canyon Road from Pechanga Parkway to the city, the southern city limit. And actually, the Rainbow Canyon Road is primarily going to be funded by our great partner, the Pechanga tribe. So both of these pavement rehab projects are close. Actually, the Butterfield Stage and Pechanga Parkway, we just posted that project on Planet Bids. So it's being advertised for construction. And normally after we advertise it, it's another 2.5 months until we actually start construction. So that's what we expect. Rainbow Canyon, we're looking probably to post it for construction either next week or the week after. So it's also going to be done over the summer. And then the citywide slurry seal and the bridge maintenance is going to be done later in the fiscal year. And if you're wondering, the bridge maintenance, over the years, the surface of bridges will need to be protected. So there is a substance, methacolite, that would be added to the bridge to prolong the life of the bridge. So we established a program to evaluate, the bridges around town. Caltrans always assists us with that by, providing reports. They do that for the entire state. And we're going to choose a bunch of bridges, and we're going to put out a project to apply this, this substance to these bridges. Sometimes you have to also replace the seals, that at the end of the bridge that, connect to the road. So that's what this project is about. We're also, a few years ago, I think it was 2016, we did a sidewalk gap study, and we've been working every year, to do more sidewalks. So in this upcoming year, we have 3 primarily sidewalk projects. The first one is Power Road, and that's from Elinda to Showalter by the library, and then Inez Road, which would be on the west side, between Rancho Highland and Tierra Vista. There's a missing piece of sidewalk close to the new steak place there. And then we will be doing in Old Town, we'll be doing the south side of 6th Street between Mercedes and Old Town Front Street. So those are all going to be done. Actually, probably within this year, before the end of this year, we'll be starting construction. They're all close to finishing the design and getting ready to go to construction. So we have a lot of stuff coming up in 24, 25 for construction. Then we have a few other projects. A few years ago, we did our ADA transition plan, and we've been budgeting the Community Development Block Grant annual funding to do ADA improvements. And we've done a few facilities, like the Mary Phillips Senior Center. We've done the Community Recreation Center. Using these funds, right now we have a project under construction at the Ronald Reagan Sports Park baseball field. So we're improving the accessible parking. We have an accessible ramp that goes from Margarita Road down to the field now. It's already been constructed. And we're also making all the dugouts are accessible. So that project is under construction, probably going to be finished sometimes in May. Next year, we'll be doing a large-scale ADA ramp, so we're already evaluating ramps throughout the city from the ADA transition plan, and we're going to put together a project to upgrade a good chunk of ramps throughout the city with the money that's been appropriated. We also have, for safety, we have a couple of projects to add solar lighting to trails. The first trail is the Great Oak Trail, which is the trail on Pechanga Parkway between Deer Hollow and Loma Linda. And also, we're looking to add lights to the Marietta Creek Trail on the east side through Old Town. So that would be from First Street Bridge to Rancho California Road. We're actually, right now, we have all the lights. We bought them all. We're just waiting to get the approval from the concerned agencies, like Army Corps of Engineers, Riverside County Flood Control. Once we get all the approval, we'll be able to install these lights. We also have, kind of along the same line, safety. We're doing the Santa Cruz Creek, the Margarita undercrossing. Right now, people, if they want to, if they're on the trail and they want to cross that, they have to go up to the street, to cross. So we're going to be doing the undercrossing. Actually, this project is going to City Council in May to award the construction contract. So that's going to go to construction this summer. All right, we're getting close, so be patient. The citywide security camera, so the security camera system has enhanced the quality of life in Temecula by integrating safety and security practice through technology. So the sites include parks, recreation centers, museum, and traffic intersections. The city have completed 24 public sites and more than 35 intersections with this project. And then the other project that has to do with the safety is the Fire Station 84 renovation. So this project will renovate the training room, update the facility to be more efficient, including upgrading the windows, the electrical systems, and repainting of the interior and exterior. And it will also add a separate small building as a gym next to the existing fire station. We're actually in the final stages of design, and we're looking to bid this project for construction in the summer. And we know we're looking to probably begin in the fall as far as the construction. So the last one is the Marietta Creek Improvement Project. This is not a city project. We're partners with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and Riverside County Flood Control. I just wanted to give you an update on this project because there has been some significant development in the last couple of months. So the federal government allocated about $39 million to the construction of this phase as part of the House and Energy and Water Development Appropriation Bill approved by the House and the Senate and signed by the President on March 9th, 2024. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is working diligently to try and bid this project for construction in July, August timeframe, which means they probably would begin construction toward the end of the year or early next year. So this is a significant development. This project been long coming. Phase 2A between First Street and Rancho Cal was completed in 2018, and we've been waiting to get approved for funding. So it finally came, and now the project is gonna start. So once it's complete, it's actually gonna protect Old Town from like a 50-year flooding event. With that, this slide just shows some of the projects that have been completed or close to completing. The pavement rehab that were done last year, all the wonderful traffic project our traffic division have done. I think one of them is the communication master plan that's scheduled to come to before you next month. So that you'll be able to review that. Signals, we had the park and ride at Wabash, the park and ride access at Wabash, and we also had the promenade, Ring Road, and many other projects. This concludes my presentations, and I'm here to answer any question you may have.
All right, I love it.
Thank you.
Do we have any public comment on this item before we go to questions?
No public comments.
Okay, so we'll do questions or comments or discussion.
I've just got one question on the surveillance or the cameras. Are those being monitored, or are they just for playback after a fact?
I'm not really familiar with that. Maybe Ron can, or Nick can speak to that.
They're played back. No one's sitting there watching them live, although we do have live cameras for traffic.
Right.
Those ones aren't necessarily
Just
recording.
up on a-
So these
an
aren't
event or
flock
something.
cameras then?
No,
Oh, no, those
it's
are-
separate.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. That's all I had.
Excellent report. I mean, I can't believe all the projects we're doing. It's just amazing. Obviously, the city is interested in investing and keeping everything up, so.
Yeah, we have a great staff, Nick, Ron, and, a lot of admin staff, Anissa and Amanda.
There's only so much room on
Yeah.
this dais. Don't get their heads too big.
We actually have also here Emily. She's one of our young engineers, and she's doing actually some of the project I presented you today. She's doing Inez Road Phase 1. She will be doing that when it goes to construction. And she's also doing the 6th Street sidewalk between Mercedes and Old Town Front. So you'll probably see her out there with a vest and maybe even a hard hat, huh?
All right. Well, when I was reviewing this document over the weekend, I was really looking with a critical eye towards the funding sources. And there were a couple of things that stood out to me, and I was happy that you mentioned one of them, which is how much our community partners at Pechanga are contributing to these projects. You mentioned Rainbow Canyon, and also the auxiliary lanes and the I-15 beautification. So that partnership is, of course, very much noticed and appreciated. Second thing I saw is that it looked to me like there were no unspecified funds in the first 2 years, and then even in the third year, not too many, and then beyond that, about 80 to 85% were really just the French Valley Parkway and the Murrieta Creek Bridge. So I was encouraged to see that. Those are consequential projects, of course, but even if they were to be delayed, looks like we still have, over 100 projects here that look like they have a very realistic chance of getting done. I wanted to ask if that was by design, that there are no unspecified funds kind of towards the beginning.
Actually, that's a strategy from our finance department that we cannot put any, funding, unspecified funding in the next couple of years. So if you have a project that you don't have fund for, that's unspecified, would have to be in the third year of the program. So it is definitely by design.
Oh, okay, understood. Yeah, I appreciate that approach, and it's certainly an impressively large program and also remarkably achievable looking.
Yes.
So looking forward to that. I think it's a good way to kind of keep our early celebration of Public Works Week going. And if everyone's good on comments, well, thank you for spending your evening with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so we will move on to the Bristol Road at Worthington Place multi-way stop controls analysis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. This presentation is in regards to an all-way stop controls analysis at the intersection of Bristol Road and Worthington Place. Earlier this year, and even late last year, staff received a request to install multi-way stops for the purpose of providing controlled pedestrian crossing across Bristol Road at Worthington Place. The request stated there was heavy vehicle and ped volumes during the Isabel Barnett drop-off and pickup times. This location is specifically located at the back end of Isabel Barnett. There's a little gate that leads to the field where students can enter into the school. More on that later. I'll add to that. But based on this request, staff performed a field review of the area and determined that an all-way stop could be considered at this intersection. And some background on these roads. As you can tell, these are residential roadways serving a kind of small group of homes each road. Bristol Road's around 42 feet wide and around 860 ADT, and it's 25 miles an hour road. Worthington Place, smaller street, 36 feet wide with about 100 ADT. During the visits, we did notice that there was some pedestrian volumes, and there was some uncontrolled crossing going on. Based on this, we determined, hey, we should run a stop controls analysis where we'd determine if a all-way stop was justified. Our analysis has included data collection and review, intersection volumes, collision history, site distance, and then an overall multi-way stop warrant analysis. The city used their streetlight data program to pull data to determine traffic volumes. And then we also did some collision history, and we found that there were 0 accidents in the past 3 years. We performed a site distance evaluation. The required visibility is for a 25-mile-an-hour road is 150 feet, and we have adequate site distance in both directions from Worthington Place looking down Bristol Road. So when a stop sign is not warranted, multi-way stop sign is not warranted by the traffic volumes, collision history, or some other engineering constraints like site visibility, which none of these have been met, we kind of go on to other criteria conditions that we can look at. Some of the ones we looked at are the roadway characteristics, and then also, is this near a school? You know, is it a suggested route? Is there heavy vehicle ped conflicts? We do meet some of these criteria, but while we looked at these, we also determined that we don't feel that these are necessarily really big, considering the scale of these roads, that these still aren't necessarily huge justifications for an all-way stop. And some of the considerations why we don't think this is necessarily a good location as an all-way stop is if we were to put an all-way stop, we would need to go ahead and upgrade the pedestrian curb ramps and need to make them ADA compliant. One issue, as you can see on the screen, is we would have to put a ramp at this location, and this location has a variety of issues. One is going to be there's a tree there with roots. We'd have to cut out roots, potentially killing the tree. There's a drainage. It's hard to see it, but there's a little circular drain coming through the curb that's actually for that resident, so we'd have to do some reworking of drainage. And then also, it would be a non-standard ramp. We'd have to take out a large portion of sidewalk in order to make a ramp work. You'd have to ramp down the sidewalks and not necessarily towards the street. So it's actually a difficult and expensive construction. We'd also lose parking because you would need to have some visibility for pedestrians. So, I mean, it could be an issue. And then also where the resident steps are, it would lead right to the location where the ramp would be. I'm not sure a resident would necessarily be okay with that. So if we were to ultimately consider it, we'd have to definitely get some approvals of residents in the location. But for these reasons, we determined that an all-way stop should not be considered ultimately. And with that, we recommend the commission maintain the existing side street stop control at the intersection of Bristol Road and Worthington Place. And with that, I can open up to any questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
I went out there a couple of times, but today I happened to be there when school got out. And I noticed that a couple of parents or whatever, they had vests on, and they brought a couple cones out. So I started talking to one of the gentlemen there and telling him I was going to be here. And I think you spoke to him too. He mentioned your name. And they saw no need because of all the things that you said, but not about the ramp or anything, but because they just, it only happens, you know, periodically, and they work really well with the principal at the school, and I think they've already got it settled. So I agree that it's probably better left on, you know.
That's how the initial complaint came to us over a year ago, is the school was trying to dictate to the city to put a crosswalk there. So the school will allow parents to use that gate to let kids in and out, but they have worked it out with the residents of those streets to give the kids passes to, so to me, that's a much better solution than to put a.
Yeah, because he said they used to go there and wait. Where I was parked, just to kind of monitor it, that's where people used to park to pick up their kids. But they worked with the school now, and that's prohibited by the school. They have to pick them up elsewhere. So, yeah, they've worked it out themselves.
It works out really well now.
Yeah.
Are you moving that then as a motion? To just,
If no one else has any questions, I'll move it as a motion to
Yeah.
leave it.
I'll second
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Commissioner Ackerman absent. Carter?
Aye.
Maddox?
Aye.
Richardson absent. Sullivan?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, Pachanga Parkway Signal Coordination Project.
Yes, so this presentation is on the Pachanga Parkway Signal Coordination Project. So this little background on this project, after the successful implementation of coordination on Winchester Road, Temecula Parkway, and Rancho California, staff we thought internally what would be the next location where we should consider a coordinated corridor, and Pachanga Parkway kind of jumped up at us. It has the good infrastructure and it's already pretty much ready to go. It'd be a relatively simple and inexpensive project to take on, so we decided this would be the next one. There's already existing fiber along Pachanga Parkway. In order to do coordination, you really need to have communications, essentially fiber communications, so you can monitor it, and very little work is needed. As you can see, these are the plans we developed, and it's on the screen. That's what the contractor will be building to. A little bit more on the project. So the project is going to provide fiber communications to all the signals on Pachanga Parkway. I believe it's about 10 signals from Temecula Parkway to Deer Hollow. We'll install fiber optic communication systems, including breakout cables, fiber equipment, traffic signal controllers, and some traffic cabinet network equipment. Staff actually developed the plans and designed it, and in order to save time and budget. Staff is also going to be developing and implementing the coordinated signal timing plans. That'll be the first for the city, so we're trying to expand our horizons here and really learn how to do that more. I used to do it at my old job, but I just got to dust the cobwebs off a little bit more. But the fiber communications is going to be installed in early May. They've actually already done some markouts out there, so they're planning to go out there next week. And then signal coordination, we're still working on that design, and we're hoping to implement that by September. And with that, we'd recommend that the Traffic Safety Commission receive and file this report for staff to implement fiber communications and signal coordination timing on Pachanga Parkway.
Very good. Any questions or comments? Go ahead.
A question, and I know you spoke about this before when you did Temecula Parkway. But could you explain again how this thing works? Because, I drive both of those roads, and I get stuck at a light, and it seems like forever if it's from one of the sides. And then when you turn, then I end up stopping at each light down the way, and I thought it was supposed to be coordinated, so
Yeah, it definitely shouldn't be like that. You'll definitely get stopped on the side streets.
Right.
But once you start to get into the main corridor, you should be getting a pretty consistent green and not stopping every single one. So you should definitely we can talk offline to find out exactly where that is.
I was just curious because I remember the presentation, and then I'm driving it, and I'm thinking, when I was coming out of one street, I expected to sit there, but then I caught the next two lights, and then after that, it was fine. But I guess, does it kick in from the side streets? And so that would throw it off for a couple of sequences? Or
No, so
just
we base all our timing based on what Caltrans has at their corridor. So we use that as our basis, and we develop our whole cycle time, our cycle length for each signal. Each signal can kind of be thrown off with pedestrians crossing, potentially a fire engine turning on their strobe. So typically it really does improve the traffic, but there will be times where sometimes you get cut off on a left turn. I know everyone's experienced that a little bit, but generally should be reducing the stop and go for the most part.
It's only happened a couple times. It's not a...
But there is something to it. We are meeting Caltrans next week because they changed timing and didn't tell us.
Oh.
So that is affecting specifically Temecula Parkway at Bedford, La Paz, and Wabash. We are experiencing heavier than normal stops there, so we are going to attempt to go work out a deal with them to fix that.
All right, no, it's a great program. I was just a couple of times, and I thought, okay, no, but it's good, thank you.
And I recall with those side streets on Rancho Cal, we had some issues with the lower volume residential streets. I think Asteroid Rendezvous and Humber had been called out in the presentation. And one of the solutions that was proposed at the time was that we might be able to see if there's a break in the main movement down the corridor and possibly reserve those side streets one additional time per cycle. So I was curious if that is something that we had been able to test and.
So we actually went back and we retimed those signals. We shortened the cycle length for those 3 signals. And since then, we haven't gotten one complaint. So it really reduced that wait time. It's not easy to do. We had to get our consultant again to look at that. But they're able to do that, and it's been working really well. And recently, we just found out we got some detection issues at Asteroid, so we're fixing that as well, which can cause a lot of mayhem. But yeah, that's definitely another strategy that we look into.
Excellent.
Fixing.
And maybe a comparable intersection on Pachanga would be Muirfield. Looks like it might be kind of in that same category there, but
Yep.
I don't know. We'll leave the
It's-
details to you,
it's
because this
not
is
easy.
certainly an intricate problem, especially as we start to link up the different corridors that are coordinated like that. And although it might be a little bit of a wait to get onto the main corridor from the side streets, yeah, I think the idea would be hopefully that once you're on it, then that should move faster. So with that, anything? No? Great. Then we will receive and file that. Thank you for the update.
Sure.
And then we'll be moving on to the traffic signal priority list next.
Yes, and Amir alluded to this in his presentation. We recently developed a traffic signal priority list, and I'll be presenting that to you now. The city, we developed a list of top intersections in the city that could warrant future traffic signals in the future. We looked at every intersection in the city and thought, okay, which ones seems like these are bigger roads that may have traffic issues? These ones that are listed are not necessarily in any order of priority. They're just ones that we think could be warranted in the future. All these ones here would typically be funded with developer impact fees and also city funds. Recent example of that one would be the one on Ring Road that had some contribution from the mall, and then also the city kicked in the rest. There is no timetable for construction of these signals. When we do decide that we do think we need it, we need to run through a list of warrants to make sure they're justified. And I'm not necessarily saying any of these are justified at this point. They just have the ability, they look like they could be in the future. And there are other future signals that will be coming in the city, but these are already accounted for on CIP projects. For instance, there's about, I think, 2 on Overland and Diaz, and then Overland Enterprise Circle. That's gonna be part of the Marietta Creek Bridge project. So those will come in on a separate project and funded separately. They're not part of the priority list since they'll be done as a project. No, they are not installing a signal as part of that project. We will be, once that road is complete, we are gonna be analyzing, seeing how everything's flowing, seeing the traffic patterns, how much they change, and see what may be warranted. Sure. That's basically at their front entrance. I think it leads to Avenida La Reina, which is another street that's right in front of the school. That would be a very difficult signal to, well, actually, no, that's right in front of the park there. I'm sorry, I was thinking of Temecula Valley High School. I think it leads right to the park and right in front of the school there.
Is that?
Where the flashing
Yes,
crossing
yeah.
is, yeah. So yeah, that one's a maybe as well. With every signal, it does help, but it also causes potentially other issues.
Yeah, I was just going to add both those school locations. I'd be interested in looking at those, and we'll see what the study comes back with. I know that the relocation of the crosswalk at TVHS, and then, of course, the rectangular rapid flashing beacons at Great Oak have certainly helped a lot with sort of the uncontrolled crossings, people running across the street there. But if there's an opportunity to improve it, I guess we'll find out. All right, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
All right, we will receive and file all the division reports. And do we have a director report?
So we have two items. Number one, the detour that we have spoke about before at Kaya Medusa for that Nicholas Road project. That is going into effect on Monday. So that will be occurring. So we expect to get a lot of calls on that, but traffic's going to have to, any eastbound traffic will have to take a right at Medusa and go up to La Serena. So that is happening on Monday. Want to make sure you're aware.
Because I went through there today to go over.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be shut down,
yeah.
but my navigation sent me that way anyway. And then I thought, oh, okay, but it's signaled the 29th.
Yeah, the 29th. 29th. And we'll be putting an always stop there so that people can make that stop and head that way. The second item is there was a subcommittee meeting this week for the French Valley Phase 2, potential Phase 3, and a presentation was given by our CIP staff that kind of showed the progress to date. There's some upcoming milestones on that project, so I was thinking we would bring that also to Traffic Commission so you guys can see some of the impacts, progress of the project, but then also some impacts that may affect residents in the near future. So you expect that in the, probably within the next 2 months. Okay, and that's all I have.
Excellent. All right, any commissioner reports? No. All right, in that case, our next regular meeting will be held here Thursday, May 23rd at 6 o'clock. And thank you all. We all are adjourned.